Hi, everyone. We're going to give participants a couple of minutes to join before we get started. So let's just hang out here for a couple of minutes and then we'll go ahead and start the presentations. If you're just joining us, we're going to give participants a couple of minutes to join before we get started. All right, Shelky, I think we're ready to get started. Good evening, everyone. I'm Izzy from the city of Sunnyvale, and I will be moderating tonight's program. Along with our co-sponsor, Bosca, and our instructor, Shelky Tao, I want to welcome you all to our class. Before we begin the program, I'm going to provide some guidelines for successful participation in the webinar. First, all attendees are muted by default to reduce background noise to the presentation. If you would like to ask a question, you can do so in two ways. The first option is to use the raise hand feature. I will then call upon you and unmute you to ask your question. If possible, please save verbal questions until the end of the presentation. The second option is to type your question in the Q&A. I will then read questions to the instructor or respond directly in the chat. I'd also like to note that this webinar is being recorded and will be made available on Bosca's website. Now that we have that out of the way, I'd like to share a little background on Bosca's landscape education program. Bosca is a special district that represents the interests of 26 cities, water districts, and private water companies, all of which purchase wholesale water from the San Francisco Regional Water Supply. Bosca member agencies collectively serve over 1.8 million residents and 40,000 businesses in San Mateo, Santa Clara, and Alameda counties. Bosca's goal is to ensure a reliable supply of high-quality water at a fair price for our agencies and their customers. Consistent with that goal, Bosca provides a regional water conservation program to support our agencies in improving water use efficiency. The landscape education program is one element of that conservation program. While we have made significant strides in water use efficiency in the past decade, there is still more room for improvement. Outdoor water use represents the single largest untapped opportunity for water conservation in the Bosca service area. Outdoor water use reduction through the use of water-efficient plants and innovative techniques can help conserve water and ensure that future water supply needs of our communities are met. A few highlights on additional conservation programs that may be of interest to you. Valley Water has several rain barrel rebate options, as you can see here. You can get up to $35 for installing a rain barrel, 50 cents a gallon for installing a cistern, and $1 per square foot of a rain garden. Bosca has a landscape rebate program which provides rebates to customers of participating water agencies for replacing water-intensive lawn space with water-efficient landscaping. Bosca also has the iHeart Greywater program, which gives residents up to $200 in rebates for connecting a washing machine to a greywater irrigation system. Next, there's the Bosca Lawn Be Gone rebate, which gives residents various rebates for transforming their lawns and making them more water efficient. Another program by Bosca is the Smart Controller program, which provides instant rebates and heavily discounted pricing on purchase of the Ratio 3 irrigation controller. This controller can be operated on your smartphone and normally retails for $280. Through this program, customers of participating water agencies can purchase a controller for $100 plus tax. For more information or to find out which of these programs are available in your area, visit bayareaconservation.org. Sunnyvale encourages you to participate in rebate programs offered by Valley Water. Valley Water offers $2 per square foot of rebates for replacing your lawns and plants that require a lot of water with drought-tolerant plants or permeable hardscape. They also offer up to $200 in rebates for properties that connect a clothes washer to a gray water irrigation system. In order to qualify for these rebates, please make sure you apply first. A very common mistake is that residents get excited about the rebates and start transforming their lawns before making sure they qualify. Also, are you looking for compost? Free compost and mulch are available for Sunnyvale residents at the Smart Station. Stop by Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with your own shovel and container. Additional information on water-wise gardening can be found on southbaygreen.gardens.org, where they also have some landscape designs and templates as well. It's a great way to get some of those ideas before you go ahead and apply to the rebates. This is a snapshot of the Water-Wise Gardening website, which provides resources to support residents in water-efficient landscape renovations and management. Resources include a gallery of gardens with plants identified, plant selection tool, and even a watering calculator. If you enjoyed tonight's program, we invite you to check out Bosca's upcoming webinar classes. You can view the full schedule and register at bayareaconservation.org. If you're interested in staying up to date with Sunnyvale's Environmental Services Department, make sure to subscribe or follow us on social media. Feel free to scan the QR codes or search using the green text provided. We share tips and tricks for living sustainably in Sunnyvale, as well as rebate information and upcoming events. If you have questions about the rebate programs, please contact Valley Water for more information. Now I have the pleasure of introducing our instructor, Shelky Tao. Shelky is a landscape designer and founder of waterefficientgardens.com, an online landscape design business that excels in low water and native garden designs. She is a sustainability-driven landscape design pro committed to developing attractive, water-efficient, and ecosystem-friendly landscaping designs and solutions. Her work has been featured in the statewide Save Our Water campaign, Mercury News, and many local papers around the Bay Area. Prior to Water Efficient Gardens, Shelky worked over 10 years in the high-tech industry in Silicon Valley. She received her Certificate of Achievement in Environmental Horticulture and Design from Foothill College and MBA from the Anderson School at UCLA. Shelky, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm gonna stop sharing so that you can go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much, Izzy.
Thank you.
You will need to allow me to share.
I can do that. 1 second. Okay, there you go. You should be able to share now.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's webinar. It's about drip irrigation, a very interesting topic. So what is drip irrigation? It is a method of watering plants that involves slowly dripping water onto the soil at the root zone of the plant. So drip irrigation is considered the most efficient way to deliver water to plants. So here I just want to show a couple. So there are a lot of emitter products, drip products. That's how water is like dripped or emitted onto the root zone area. So here you can see a couple. These might be, you see a lot around when you walk around the gardens. And so this is one of the most common ones, the emitters. There's this is called micro spray. It's actually also it's also considered a drip emitter. The things about it is that you can see it's a micro spray. Also, you can adjust it. Many of them you can see you can just turn around it and adjust the water volume. So this is my favorite drip emitter because you can adjust it. So I will talk about this a little bit more later, but for native plants, the flexibility to adjust the water volume, even though it's just this kind of like micro or drip volume, is very critical. A lot of native plants, they just don't like summer water. Too much summer water, even just a little bit like that, it will kill them off or just harm them. So if we have the flexibility to adjust the water volume, of course, for the whole garden, you can do it by programming the controller. That definitely is the most direct way. But even after you do that, because some plants, they are more sensitive to summer water, for example, then if you have this flexibility to turn the water off, that's ideal. So that's why I say that's my favorite emitter, drip emitter. You might also see this is called drip line. So every feet you can see these holes. Every foot you can see these holes. So the water, there are different distances, either half foot or 1 foot or 1.5 foot. Different drip lines have different specs. So the common ones are like a foot apart. Then you see all these small holes. That's how the water is coming out during the watering time. For trees, usually you can see the drip lines in circles like this. So this way, the whole root zone can be watered dollar-free instead of just like this one circle or this one circle. This is the correct way, by the way, to water trees because we want the water to cover the whole root zone and have the drip line like this, lay out like this, several rings all the way up down to their drip zone. That's the ideal solution. So what are the differences between drip and spray or sprinkler? So if you look at these two photos, right? So there are two differences that would stand out. One is that the drip, the water will just concentrate around the root area. And here, the sprinkler, it will just spray water all over the whole space. So that's definitely the difference one. Difference two is that it's slowly dripping. It's like drop, 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 right? And here it's just water constantly coming out from the sprinkler. It is said that one sprinkler is pretty much just like a shower head. Just think about how much water will come out right each minute from that shower head. That's how much water is coming out from one sprinkler. And that's why the water usage can be so different. So yeah, this that's further just captures what I just said. Because the water is coming out slowly at the root zone, that means the water is absorbed well by the roots. And then with that, the runoff you see here, usually if it's a drip irrigation, it should not, unless you do it for a very long time, you usually will not see runoff. Another big one is that it really will reduce evaporation. If you look at this photo, so much water, like 30 or even 40%, a big percentage may be lost to evaporation. That means that's just water totally wasted, not being absorbed by any plants or grass. So the secret why drip can save so much water is that it can reduce the evaporation significantly and also reduce runoff or almost remove runoff if you control the time. If you do not like water it for over, let's say, 30 minutes or something. So how was drip invented? It was invented in Israel in the 1960s. So Simcha Blas. So when he was working in a farm, he noticed that there was this big tree was doing very well without water or watering. And obviously, because there's this leaking uh, from a leaking coupling of the tubing, I suppose. And because of that, the tree is doing very well. So from that, he just got the idea of drip irrigation and perfected it over the years. And then he patented it. And that's how drip irrigation was invented. And then he also created Netafim, irrigation company. Today, Netafim is a giant in the irrigation industry. So this drip line product is synonymous with Netafim. So many people today in the trade, they just call this product Netafim. That's how, so drip just came to us about, if you count it like 60s, so about 60 or 70 years. It's a modern invention. This is how drip is applied in agriculture. So Israel, the birthplace of drip irrigation, that's how they water so many of their agriculture products. And they can even the harvest is really a lot, and they can export a lot of their agriculture products. So there's some basic components of a drip irrigation system. You have the tubing, you have the emitters, filters, and valve. Here, I'm just going to play a video, and you can take a look.
Irrigation is a smart
Hey, Shelky, we're having difficulty hearing the audio. Not sure if you're able to increase the volume or if it's not necessary to hear the volume and just see it. Just wanted to let you know.
Oh, okay. Let me see what I can do.
You could hear it, but it was very faint.
Okay. I move it to the biggest. Let me see whether it helps. Let me.
Okay.
Is that better?
Still a little faint, but you know what? Maybe if you want to just play the video and then I can include this in the email after the presentation as well. If people want to take another look.
Okay.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I will also.
Irrigation is a smart and economical way to grow your plants. The drip system allows you to apply a precise amount of water instead of flooding the entire area.
Shelky, you're not sharing your screen, just
an
sorry. FYI.
Oh,
no worries.
Yeah, okay. Okay, one by one. Okay.
Drip irrigation is a smart and economical way to water your plants. A drip system allows you to apply a precise amount of water at each plant location instead of flooding the entire area. Over time, this can save water and money while promoting healthier plants with fewer weeds. Now, a drip irrigation system could be perceived as being a bit overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. There's a myriad of installation techniques and products. Let's get rid of all of this stuff, and I'll show you some of the basic components. The first component of the drip irrigation system, or any irrigation system for that matter, is the backflow preventer. In this case, we're showing a pressure vacuum breaker, or PVB. The backflow preventer is designed to prevent any contamination from things like fertilizer from entering back into your clean water drinking supply. As we follow down the main line from the backflow preventer, we come to the valve manifold. The valve manifold is a collection of valves, each of which is designed to water a certain area of your yard. Following the valve, two important components of a drip irrigation system are the Y filter and the pressure regulator. The Y filter protects the small emission devices from any debris that might enter your line. The pressure regulator is required to protect the block and compression fittings from the higher pressures typically found in a lawn sprinkler system. In most residential applications, we use half-inch poly and quarter-inch spaghetti tubing. Poly tubing is very flexible and easy to work with. This allows you to connect right into the half-inch poly wherever you need to run spaghetti tubing up to each individual plant. Part of the beauty of working with poly tubing is the fittings that we use. The fittings are either baroque or compression, and no glue is required. And one of the fittings you want to be sure and use is an end cap. End caps are typically found at the end of each line in a valve box and are periodically used to flush out your lines. The purpose of a drip irrigation system is to deliver a specific amount of water to each plant. That's accomplished by the drip emitter. As you saw earlier, there's a wide variety of emission devices. Be sure to select the correct one to meet the needs of each of your plants. To fully automate your irrigation system, you'll want to add a controller. The controller is programmed to open each valve for a certain amount of time, thereby eliminating the need to manually water. In addition, there are several types of sensors that can be added to the controller to prevent irrigation when it's not required. A drip irrigation system is a simple, efficient way to irrigate your plants that can help you save water and money. All of your drip parts and accessories are available at your local Ewing Irrigation branch, or you can visit us online at ewingirrigation.com. For compression, and no glue is required.
Okay, so we just look at the basic components of a drip system. Here I want to talk about a case study, how I design a drip irrigation. So this is the Northwest YMCA back lawn. So it's the Northwest YMCA is at the back of the Target on Stevens Creek. Many of you might have been there or know about it. So they have this back lawn and they rarely use it. So 2 years ago, they decided to transform that into a community garden. So it used to have the sprinklers, the whole area is watered by all these big sprinklers. So this is my design for the community garden. So we will have the veggie beds, and then everything, all the other space is filled out by the with the native trees and plants. And this is the drip irrigation that I designed. So from these 3 valves, then these are the pipe that will just pretty much cover all the plants. And a team of volunteers, we went there every Saturday morning. We did that for a half year, and then we just did the planting and just built the whole garden from the ground up. This is the planting day. And then during the planting day, we just put in the plants, and that's the first night after the plants went in. At that time, the irrigation was not installed yet. And after that, we put in the drip irrigation. And 9 months later, that's how the garden looks like. So drip irrigation is really a great way to water a drought-tolerant garden, to allow us to have such a beautiful garden with really minimal water. And this is a photo I took last week. So 2 years on, the garden is still doing great. And every single plant you see here is watered by drip irrigation. Here, I just want to show another video how to install drip irrigation. It has a little bit more detail than the last video.
By slowly watering plants and soil. Overwatering and is more productive than a sprinkler system. Here's what you'll need. Planning the proper layout ahead of time will help achieve the best results. Determine where the main hoses will go throughout the garden. Then, and emitters that supply each plant with water. Install a backflow preventer valve to your outdoor faucet to keep groundwater from backing up into your home supply lines. Hose adapter to the main hose line before connecting it to the backflow preventer. Run the main hose line through the garden. Use tees to connect the hoses and direct water up hills, around corners, and across the landscape. Cut the hose and attach a tee in the line at each place you want it to branch off. Secure the tee to the ground with a clamp. After you've laid out your hose line and tees, your final step is to lay out your feeder lines to each plant. Use an emitter tool to punch holes in the tubing and connect the drip irrigation emitters. When you reach the end of your desired watering areas, plug the ends of your lines with caps or clamps. If you installed your drip irrigation, you'll be able to water your garden evenly and efficiently. Good luck, and thanks for shopping at the Home Depot.
So, as we just talked about, drip irrigation is the way to go for drought tolerant and native gardens. So we all know native plants, they can save water up to like 80% compared with the lawn. And the secret there, a big secret, is by using drip irrigation. In the first 2 years, after you put in the plants, even though going on, they might not need too much water, but the first 2 years, they all need watering. So after the plants are put in, then you just run the drip irrigation for every plant to make sure they all get the water. For the trees, the correct way is to run it in rings like this, all the way to the drip line. Drip line is the end of the canopy, and if you draw a direct line, that's where the drip zone is. So you will just have all these rings all the way to the drip line. There are two things I want to make sure to call out. One, use the drip line for trees. Second, try to put the trees on the same water station or one drip pipe, so that they can be on separate schedule when it comes to watering. Trees need deep watering. So like while other plants, you might water them once every week or once every 2 weeks. The trees, they don't need that, but you do need to water them. One correct schedule is to water it, say, once every 3 months or once every 2 months in a hot summer like this. And when you water them, you need to do deep watering. So one rule of thumb is that 10 gallons of water for 1 foot of the diameter. So basically, it's like for a big tree, you need to water something like 90 gallons each time. for a typical tree, 90 to 180 gallons. So that's why you should put that for all the trees on a separate drip pipe and program it on a different schedule so that you can do this kind of deep watering just for the trees. One thing I also remember is that I mentioned at the beginning is that try to use the adjustable micro spray so that, for example, the white sage here, it really doesn't like water or doesn't like too much water during the hot summer days. So you can just shut off the water so that it can grow well that way. And other plants like the manzanita, they don't mind the water, then you can just water it as usual. You can use drip irrigation for vegetable gardens. So as you can see, this is a drip line, and then the water will just come out from the hose like this. So the key is that to make sure you plants are dense enough so that that water can be applied to the plants. So yeah, this is basically the main some information for drip irrigation. So this is my contact information. Welcome to send me any questions you might have about native gardens or drip irrigation. I will be happy to talk to you. So now I can answer your questions. Do you have any question?
Hi, Shelky. Thank you for the great information. We do have a question that just came in. The question is, I have raised beds, each approximately 3.5 feet by 7 feet. The height is to my waist, so I don't have to bend down. Can I use drip irrigation on them? And what do I do differently for installation?
No, you can totally do drip irrigation just like this. You just need to run the pipe all the way up to the bed and then run horizontally like this. So yeah, totally. That's how a lot of veg beds are watered.
Great, thank you. Do we have any other questions for Shelky while we have her?
Yeah, I can just add to what I just answered. So you just have the pipe go up all the way to the bed and then run it horizontally like that. So that's how it is done.
I have a question for you, Shelky. What have you found to be your greatest challenge with installing drip irrigation? Is there one thing that always seems to come up that is tricky to solve, or is it usually pretty straightforward?
I think to install it, usually it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think as long as you plan it well in advance, how you run the lines to make sure that that pipe can cover all the plants. I think that's the key part, because if you don't plan it well in advance, then some of the plants might be missed. So yeah, I think that's the key step to make sure that you look at all the plants, and then you have the plan where to run the pipes, and then make sure you have it's easy to do the spaghetti pipe for every single plant. As long as you have that plan in advance, it should be pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have another question. The tiny hose and emitters break often. How do you deal with that situation?
Yeah, it's I know it can be quite a hassle quite often. So one thing I can think about is that maybe is to have the on the ground or on the surface irrigation so that you can see it more easily. it might still break, but at least you can see it and it's easier to fix. Many times, I think the trouble comes from the fact that it's under the surface. So you don't even know that it's broken. Many times you only know it when the plant goes yellow or even becomes dead. So one way I think to make it easier is to do it on the surface like this. So at least you can find out in time that it is broken.
Thanks, Shelky. We have another question. If drip irrigation tubing has holes at standard distances, how do you best use this without wasting water? I often see water without any plants.
Yeah, that's why the planting design and irrigation design goes hand in hand. So the idea is that you should have the planting design first, and then have the irrigation to go with it, and not vice versa. So like if you know that like this, you will have the hose one foot apart, then here it should not be blank, it should not be empty like this. It should have plants all along the way. Every foot apart.
I wonder if you could also just put a piece of sturdy tape over the hole if you do want to have a nice big separation between your plants to allow them to grow, then maybe in that space to just put some tape on there. Hopefully that will work.
Yeah, great point. Or as I mentioned, just try to always use the adjustable spray like this, so that you can adjust all the time.
Awesome. So we do have another question. I installed a ratio controller for a new drip irrigation a year ago. I've had numerous failures this summer where the water may only turn on 5 to 7 days, even during the recent 3 hot weeks. I'm ready to replace my ratio. Any advice for troubleshooting or another controller brand?
Yeah, I usually would recommend the high beef, the Orbit high beef. It's a smart controller. You can actually, it's covered by the rebate from Valley Water. And I like it because you can control it both ways. You can download its app and control it from the app, or it has the standard interface. So you can just change that, operate it by hand. I like that option because many times when the app doesn't work, or you still have another option to control it, versus other controller like is that Rabbit, right? It only have the app interface, so you are confined to that. So I over the years I usually recommend Orbit Beehive for that
Beehive.
For that reason.
Beehive. I'm writing that down. Awesome. Okay, another question. What type of irrigation valves do you use when there is not a backflow preventer installed?
That's a tough one because I think you really should have the backflow preventer typically. I need to see the detailed information to answer that one.
And it says there's a second part to that, which was for drip irrigation. I'm not sure if that helps.
Yeah, I need to see the situation. Usually you do need the flow preventer. So most of the time, because we are doing the long conversion, so we just keep using the previous one, but then just change sprinkler to drip. But we still has one already there. Yeah, I need to, if you can send me the information, I can more than happy to take a look.
Awesome. Okay, next question. When is it appropriate to use soakers opposed to drip irrigation? Are you familiar with that? Am I misreading?
I think it means soaker line. Means this kind of drip line, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, soaker line for trees, that's when it should be used, as I mentioned. That's how you cover the whole drip water zone, root zone, thorough-free. You can also use it for veggie beds. Although, yeah, like that. That's how people also use it that way. But I think by and large, the soaker lines are used for trees.
Gotcha. And this one wasn't a question, it was kind of a comment based off what we were talking about earlier, but you can also splice in blank tubing between plants for sparse plantings rather than using the tape or the other method.
That's a good point.
Okay, next question. What is the connection between drip lines and the water source? Example, is there a tubing with no holes that you can use? Can't this be used if you have an area with no plants?
I think that's if you look back at this video, it shows what will go between the source and the it's basically the valve and the backflow preventer and then the pipe. So yeah, you can look back at this video. It has more complete information.
Okay, next question. Can you connect irrigation tubing to sprinkler heads into drip? Oh, can you convert sprinkler heads into drip lines? I think that's what they mean.
Okay, so the lines underneath, yes. The tubing, yes. But then the heads, no. So like all these sprinklers, you need to cap them off, and then just do the drip irrigation for all the new plants. So no, this head itself cannot be converted, but the pipes can be. Yes, we can continue to use them.
Gotcha. Good to know. Okay, that is it for questions right now. Does anyone? Oh, we have another one. How about pop-up conversion kits? I'm not sure. Maybe what your thoughts are on pop-up. Oh, maybe to answer the previous question. How are pop-up conversion? How about?
Is pop-up conversion? In my mind, the pop-up is usually a sprinkler. It's not a drip. What's the example of this one? I don't know well. Yeah. I know there's the pop-up sprinkler. That's where when the watering, it will pop up when it starts to water and then goes down to the ground when it stops. But that's for sprinklers. I don't know too well about the drip for such pop-up mechanism.
Okay, there was a second part to that. Pop-up sprinkler to conversion kits, I think from Agrifem. Are you familiar?
No. Yeah, not as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, any other questions for the time being?
Oh, when I thought, does that question mean can the pop-up sprinklers be converted to drip irrigation? Is that what the question about?
Not super clear to me, but
okay.
Do you want to just assume that that's what it was? And you can.
Yeah, then it's the same answer. The sprinkler itself cannot be converted. Yeah, you just need to cap them off.
Okay. Oh, yes, that was it. Okay. Great. Any other questions? All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I think we can conclude for the evening. Shelky, again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for a great presentation and for answering so many questions. I'm really happy to see that we have a very interactive audience tonight. Again, I will be sharing the recording in an email probably sometime next week, so keep your eye open for that. That will have the recording and resources mentioned during the webinar. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.